Andrew Kunas here for the SeanandtheDirt.com podcast. It's Tuesday at the Chili Bowl, and just like last year, I am visiting with Wags, Ken Wagner, a.k.a. Wags here. And Ken, you're here at the Chili Bowl again. You're here every year for this event, aren't you?
Yeah, I haven't missed many in probably the last 25 years.
Now, you and I have talked a bit here, and for those who don't know, you are the man responsible for the Wagsbucks here. You raised a lot of money over the years for the low dollar racers, and you are over $600,000 that you've handed out over the years, and it has to be an incredible feeling to help out the racers like that over the years.
Well, it was kind of a chore, not a chore, it was a blessing actually to be able to do it, because it gave so many guys that didn't have any extra money a chance to have dinner after a race or whatever. And then we had our own race, of course. So, yeah, I loved it.
And for a long time, you had the famous Wags Dash race down in Southern California or Arizona in some years. Tell us what that race was and who it was for.
I always raised money for the low buck guys, the guys that didn't have two motors and two cars and everything, and sometimes an open trailer. And those guys would qualify by having a bad luck at a race, and I'd give them the Wagsbucks, and that would automatically put them into the race at the end of the year. And then, of course, I lined them up by skill, so the big boys were in the back, and we had great racing, and it was fun. And they loved it.
And what was the highest purse you had for that one on any year?
Actually, I think the 9/11 year was the biggest purse we ever had, and it was somewhere around $28,000-$30,000. We paid $3,000 to win.
So $3,000 to win here. So this is all for the low buck guys here. So what do those guys think of that? They had to feel amazing that they were chosen to participate in that race.
I think sometimes they were teasing the CRA guys because they made more money than they did. But it was great. We had this year's race for my wife. We paid $3,500 to win. Yeah,
so your wife sadly passed away recently, and after not having the Wags Dash for several years, you brought back this one year as a 360 event for the West Coast Sprint Cars, and changed the name slightly. It was the Mrs. Wags Dash, correct?
Yeah, it was. I wanted to honor her. We didn't have a big service when she passed, so all her friends could come, and it was great.
And I know you're living out this way now in Oklahoma here. I know you backed away a little bit here there, but how much more do you try doing more of the Wagsbucks stuff here coming up?
It's really hard to say. I don't think I'm going to do the Hard Charger Award anymore because I can't travel back there. But I might. I'm trying to work out something here. I can't commit to that kind of an effort because it takes a lot of people, and they are old too.
As we've talked about here, and some folks know, I'd been doing the K-Bucks for a while now. The Bucks is a nod to your efforts here, partly inspired by you. And I do a lot of Hard Charger and other different things, High Northwest bonus here. You pitched in on that last year. Thank you very much here. But what are your hopes? You're hoping that maybe some other folks here might try to take up the mantle for you there and be a champion for the low dollar racer?
Well, I'd love to do that. In fact, I talked to Cody Brewer at a Red Dirt Raceway. He wanted me to come and do a Wags Dash, and I said, here, this is what you do. You find somebody that's real excitable, that stands out in your crowd, and you just have them announce that Billy Joe crashed. Go give Bobby Joe some money for him, that kind of a thing, and it'll just start. I think it'll work.
Okay. And everyone who knows you by the famous hat here, the red hat with the white polka dots on it there. How did the hat deal come about?
Well, when I worked at Kawasaki, I had a green hat with polka dots, and I got that from the fearsome foursome of the Rams at front four. I'd go see all their games, and they had the welder hats, and I saw a green one, so I started wearing to the races. Then one day, somebody told me that was bad luck, so I ended up getting a red one.
And that's sort of become your signature here, the hat there. Is that someone need to have a little signature of sorts there to stand out to raise money or something like that?
Yeah, they always find me, so that's I don't like wearing it, but it works. My friends can find me, and I think if you find somebody that you could do that, I think it'd work fine.
Now, you still feel the vibe when you come into the Chili Bowl here every year for this big event?
It is one of the most excitable races for me because every racer's here, and the racing can be unbelievable at times.
And your thoughts on the current state of racing here, and who are some of the great drivers you think are coming up right now?
Well, all you have to do is look at the midgets and see who the hot ones are going to be. There's so many good drivers. That Axum he's amazing, and there's just Justin Grant. Who could be better than Justin Grant? And as he keeps proving in a sprint car for sure. But I think racing is doing really well in the Midwest. It's not doing well on the coast, not in non-wing stuff. But
on behalf of everyone here who's been involved in the sport, thank you for all that you have done for racing.
I appreciate that. It was a joy the whole time.
All right, Ken Wagner, a.k.a. Wags, here at the Chili Bowl.